A lady sits in the parking lot, doesn't even go into the store, and the store still calls the police on her, saying that she's robbing the joint. You can't script this shit. Me and the Notification Gang would like to invite everybody to come join us Monday through Thursday, 9:20 to 10 o'clock for morning coffee, where we discuss the events of the prior day and also just talk mess about stuff. See you then.
Well, a Bay Area woman says a popular supermarket chain accused her family of shoplifting because they're African American. Night Beat's Maria Medina is in Mountain View with what happened after 911 was called.
On her free time, Erica Martin says she gives care packages to the homeless.
It makes me feel good.
Including one man who frequents the Safeway off Shoreline Boulevard in Mountain View.
That day, I just decided to go get him some dog food for his dog.
That day was a Sunday evening earlier this month, a day she'll now never forget.
The police just blocks me in. I'm like, what is going on?
Erica says she found herself suddenly defending herself to several officers who told her Safeway employees accused her of theft.
And then she was like, well, we were called here because you fit the description of someone taking items out of Safeway and bringing it back to your car. I'm like,
Erica says Safeway workers thought she was conspiring with an African-American man and that a group of kids were also shoplifting and bringing items to her car. She says her little boy had gone to the deli to see if they were giving away cookie samples, as he's done many times before, and was now sitting in their car frightened and emotional.
And he was like crying because he thought they were there to arrest him.
The thing is, Erica never stepped foot inside Safeway. In fact, she says she never got out of her car. Erica says she wasn't wearing the shirt reported to police. She was wearing this religious shirt instead. And she claims she was listening to gospel music and talking to her sisters, who'd also dropped off items to a homeless man. Her sister recorded this video of the incident.
Accusing her of stealing. And she was in her car the whole time.
Police say Erica and her family were helpful and calm and realized Safeway workers got it all wrong.
Racism still exists.
But the damage, she says, was already done.
I blame the Safeway employees. And for them to do something like that to me is just hurtful and shameful.
Will you ever go back to that Safeway?
I am not going back to that Safeway, ever.
Erica says a store manager apologized for what happened and that she'd be getting a call from corporate. She's still waiting on that call. A spokesperson for Safeway did return our request and said workers called 911 because a man who'd stolen here before had returned, but they're still investigating as to why police questioned Erica and her family that day. On the Night Beat, I'm Maria Medina.
What's up, party people? Come join me Friday night, 9 p.m. after you put the kids to bed. Game night. I'm putting a team together. BBN, Jack Frost. What's up, party people? Alright, so there's gonna come a time, and I'm telling you, and it's not going to be looked at in a positive manner. It's going to be America changing. When you're going to have some business, possibly, or you're going to have some, it seems like females are doing it much more than men. Men are doing it. Don't get this confused. But you're going to have a situation where somebody is going to call the police on a melanated individual. And the police are going to show up. And a tragedy is going to ensue. And that person is going to lose their life. I pray that this doesn't happen. This is not something that I want to happen. Let's just be clear on that. But there's only but so many times you can stick your head in the mouth of the lion before he snaps shut. So we have a Safeway store, and they called the police. Now, see, this is where the problem, where I believe the problem is. They called the police on a lady that was sitting in the car, right? The lady never came into the establishment, correct? The lady did send her son into the establishment, correct? Because her son went to go get cookies. Correct. Now, at the same time all of this is going on, there allegedly are also other individuals who's stealing from the store. Now, this is where I have the issue. Not that they called the police, but you don't know. The lady didn't come in the store unless I'm assuming that they have cameras, and unless even on the outside, and unless these kids went up to her car, there is no reason to say there's a person out in the parking lot. Everybody do know how the law works, right? Like, I'm not sure how it is in other states, but in New York City, if you're in the store, they can detain you. They can literally they can lock the doors, keep you in the store. They can detain you. Once you get out the store, it's a police issue. I mean, it's a police issue in the store also. But until you go out the store, the item is not stolen. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you were listening to the report by the news, they said, I think, numerous times, and she said it herself, that she never went in the store. You cannot get her for stealing. You understand what I'm saying? She never went in the store. They also can't accuse you of stealing if you've never left the store. The law's weird. So while they're trying to say they called the police because they got these young kids that are stealing, and they got another guy, he's also stealing, why did the police not go up to a boy, a child, or a man? The police went up to a woman. They called the police on this lady. Period. I just want to make that clear. The police were called on her, while at the same time the store insisted there was a young group of teenagers that was stealing, and there also was a guy somewhere that was stealing. This is a woman. I'm going to assume that she looks enough like a woman that you're not going to confuse her with teenagers or a guy. And then the police show up, and she has a shirt on that has Jesus' name on it. She's also an individual who, it seems, feeds the homeless. Now, what do you think would have happened if the police would have showed up and beat her, hit her in any manner? Now, she's sitting in her car. I'm pretty sure the police could look into the damn car and see that there aren't any groceries. There's no stolen merchandise. When we decide to stop going to these places that treat us like this, that's when stores are gonna stop doing it. All right? Establishments are not gonna stop doing this until the bottom line suffers. When the bottom line suffers, they're gonna stop doing this, because they will fire. An establishment will fire the individual that unnecessarily called the police. Don't get this wrong. But then they'll hire another person that will do the same thing. Yes, that is what they are going to do. I'm not talking about in this case. I don't know if anybody was fired. It looks like the store's basically saying, look, man, this was proper protocol. This is what happened. We had people that were stealing. We called the police. We have no idea why the police went up to her. The police went up to her because you said, you pointed her out. That's why the police went up to her. The kids are stealing from the store, and they putting it in a car outside at this lady. You don't even know what's going on. Now, I'm going to tell you a quick story. Back in the 80s, I used to have like thousands of comic books in my basement. Thousands upon thousands. If we didn't have a flood, Or we was just smart enough to, we had room enough somewhere else to store them. We just didn't have room. If we were at an attic, we could have put them in the attic, but we didn't have an attic. I live in New York City. This house didn't have an attic. But we had thousands of comic books in the basement. How did we get so many comic books? I had a brother. I have a brother. And what my brother used to do was, he would go to comic book conventions with his 2 white friends. And he would just stand around comics. And people were so busy looking at him, thinking that he was going to steal, that his friends was just throwing comic books in book bags and robbing the joint blind. Now, if I had thousands of comic books, I could just imagine how much the other 2 guys that actually did the actual stealing had, because in reality, my brother was just standing there. He wasn't taking anything. He wasn't doing anything illegal. He was just standing there. And because there is this, the black guy did it stigma, or the black guy is going to do it stigma that we have in America, his 2 lily white friends was able to rob the place blind. And when I tell you thousands of comic books, I had like almost every Amazing Spider-Man, almost every spectacular, up until like 92, 93, almost every spectacular Spider-Man comic book. I had another brother, he used to buy comics also. So, you know, that's cool because he used to buy the ones that was more up to date. And my brother was stealing classics. My brother, he wasn't even stealing them. The other guys were stealing them. He wasn't stealing shit. But my brother's friends were stealing classics. Easily, if we still had those comic books, and they was in the freaking plastic bags. Easily, if we would have still had those comic books, we'd be millionaires. No exaggeration. This is before the big comic book boom and or comic book the bottom fell out in the 2000s. This is 70s comic books, 60s comic books. Anyway, point being, until we get this thing in our heads that in the country, stop thinking the black guy is gonna do the crime. The black woman is gonna do the crime. These people are savages and need to be treated as such. There just isn't gonna be any change that can happen. That Safeway, people need to not just boycott that Safeway. People need to start boycotting Safeways, period. Seriously. I'm going to tell you one more story real quick. You know that whole thing that happened in Philadelphia involving the Starbucks? You want to know why Starbucks handled that so quickly? Because I'm guaranteeing you, Starbucks had a policy that if any customer acts any way that you don't want them acting, call the police immediately. That's why Starbucks got ahead of that. That's why Starbucks, when that happened, they did what they did. Shut down stores, gave teaching. Because their policy was what that individual did when they called the cops on those black kids, those black men that was just waiting to have a business meeting before they bought their coffee. I also had a Starbucks call the cops on me. Over nothing. I was just doing my morning coffee show. I still have the footage. They asked me to leave one time, talking about I was filming some lady, which I wasn't doing. And then another time when I came back to the establishment, the individual didn't want to give me his name. The individual called the cops on me after I left the store. I was standing outside and the cops came up to me. So until we decide that we're going to stop giving our money to corporations and organizations that don't treat us with respect, this isn't going to end. This is going to keep going on. Let me know what y'all guys think about this. Leave the comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe. Join the notification gang. Hashtag Bronx Bombers. Let's get it. I love y'all. Take care of each other. Hug the kids for me. I haven't forgotten about you. And that's all I got on this one. I'm out. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. If you would like to help dictate the direction that this channel takes, please leave a comment. All comments are appreciated. whether positive or negative. Thank you very much and enjoy your day. And remember, positive thoughts cause for positive things to happen. Let's get it.